Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts Reviews and Off Times Reminiscences, with the second attempt at doing Chaos Ritual after I cocked up the first attempt by having no volume on anything. And so, hopefully this time it'll all work. If not, I shall go into the darkened corner and beat myself senseless with a baseball bat. But anyway, Chaos Ritual was suggested by Tattoo, something to listen to, which I will do now, hopefully. Without cocking it up again. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I've heard Chaos Ritual before, but it's not an artist I'm particularly familiar with. So when I listened to this, the first attempt, it didn't ring too many bells, although it did have an air of familiarity, but I'm pretty sure I hadn't heard it before. But anyway, all the wise and wonderful things I said before about this song, hopefully I can remember what they were to reiterate them this time. But anyway, let's have a little listen, shall we? So we start all Hammer House of Horror, which is always a good sign, usually a good sign, and then go into the intro proper, which is as if you stirred a hornet's nest. It stings, and I can say that from personal experience, having once come across an old tree trunk in on a trail when I was mountain biking not so long ago actually, and did the twattish thing to do, which was to go and check it out, and then saw that there was a hornet's nest therein with hornets guarding said nest, and then did an even more twattish thing, which was to go and get my phone out, had a bag on my bike and go and try and take some photos of it, in which case the hornets took great exception to that, and my legs were swollen for bloody a good week and a half with hornet venom, not to be repeated, deliberately anyway. Anyway, yes, so yes, a stonking way to start a track. Some plus points with this already, one of which is the drums, which are my favourite solo drum riffs. it's a thumping drum sound rather than a clatter. I always prefer a thump to the sharper tones of a sharp snary sound. So I'm happy already, and it's another. It's a song that is in the murk as well, which is another thing I like about one of my favourites sort of artifices of music is when it's buried in murk of various degrees. Despite being murky, it's quite imperious. It's as if you're listening to a drunken magistrate, really. Yeah, so far, so very good. So there's a what picture does this paint to you, Matt? Well, I was going to say it reminds me of a tank regiment steaming across a plain somewhere, and then I thought a bit more about it, and it's more like a cavalry charge, which I suppose technically is the same thing, but this is a horse cavalry thundering across a steppe somewhere, and said horsemen, hussars are they, I don't know, are brandishing their sabres and swords and slashing them to great effect, which is those sort of thrashy little accentuations from the guitar. Just remind me of as I say, a cavalry regiment steaming into the fray with those sabres slashing, and but still retaining that murk, that fog of war, if you will, which means that the guitar flourish stays within the mix and doesn't become dominant. Yeah. So it's sections like the one just past that that fire you up, really. It's like after I do all this, when I step out my door, I will have a spring in my step, probably not a care in the world, and should any care come to play, then I won't care, because the adrenaline will be pumping that much that bring it on. Yes, proper stirrer of a section of the track, that is. Another thing that springs to mind is that the technical speed doesn't matter here. It's the sense of momentum you get from the whole, which is such that it's unstoppable, and so BPM doesn't count. The fastness of the riffs or the thrashing doesn't count. It's just that whole, which I mean, to all intents and purposes, is predominantly mid-paced, but it doesn't matter. That it's just that this sort of roiling mass coming towards you. It doesn't matter how fast it may be, it's going to flatten you regardless. Yeah. So there you go, a marvellous massive Merc there. Quite old school in many ways. Sometimes I've not checked on Kaosritual's details, so the dates of such I'm not quite sure, but I thought they're not recent, but they're fairly recent, relatively speaking. So this is sort of any old school here is sort of homage or revisionist or whatever, revisionist. But regardless, it's very effective, and it has got that nastiness about it that a lot of black metal nowadays doesn't have. And so, you know, regardless of any degree of aggression, there's a nastiness, and you know, very often when we talk about evil sounding music, I struggle with that as a descriptor, because counterintuitively, if something's evil, it shouldn't be particularly enjoyable unless you've got one of those twisted minds. But it has got that sense of malice and people that don't mean you well about it. So, but anyway, grateful for the suggestion there. There's another one from Tattoo that I'll have a look at some point. But until then, clicky bollocks, catch you all next time. Cheerio.